Rivets, 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 rivets. Hi, Casey Hudson here, Crazy Casey on the HAMB, Reverend Casey James on Instagram. I wanted to come back with another video. I mentioned last week that this is a rivet build. What do I mean by that? Well, it's a 1928 Model A Roadster, and from the factory, the body was assembled with a lot of rivets. What's a rivet? It's not a pop rivet. It's this little guy right here. This is a 3/16 brassiere, like a women's undergarment head rivet, brassiere head rivet. They come in different lengths. These are the three that are in the commonly available kit that you get online from many Model A parts restorers. If you're gonna endeavor to do this with your car, you're also gonna need some basic tools. That is a bucking bar. Basically, it's got a 3/16 dome that accepts this rivet perfectly in the top. You buck the rivet by basically putting this bar behind it and holding it really, really, really tight. If you don't hold it really, really tight, the whole process doesn't work. It's pretty uncanny. This bar has some weight to it. It's probably about 2 pounds. So that helps you slightly. Hold it against what, you may ask? This. Does that zoom in? Hopefully that zooms in. Why am I squinting at the camera? This is the Ford waffle pattern attachment on a cheapo Harbor Freight air hammer, part number 47868. They say that a proper rivet gun would be better. I agree. Proper rivet gun has a longer stroke. Almost anything's better than a Harbor Freight tool, you know, but I'm working on a budget here. So this is what I got. Anyway, this is the quarter panel bracket. It attaches the quarter panel to the sub rail, makes it nice and strong. It's just held together with 3/16 inch, gosh, try to say that 5 times fast. 3/16 inch Cleco fasteners. These are Clecos. I'm pulling them out and show you. Pretty handy little tool. I actually just bought my first set of these a couple of months ago, right before I started this project. Basically, you have a set of Cleco pliers, like this. You squeeze them together, and I'll try to put it closer so you can see. And basically, the arms of the Cleco go out and get skinny. That allows them to go through a hole, and then when you let go, they retract. A center arm goes through to make them wider so that they hold themselves with spring tension against the hole. They'll actually hold panels together. They're really good for fitment. I couldn't live without them now that I have them. So anyway, I'm going to rivet this brace to the quarter panel. That's how it was on my original quarter panels that were wasted. So that's how I'm going to make it in this project here. I'm going to show you how to do that because every other rivet on this project is nearly impossible to get to when you're just doing it with 2 hands like I'm doing it, you know. I mean, not impossible to get to, but impossible to get to and film at the same time. So you're lucky. This is easy. I get to show you. Hopefully I don't screw it up. All right. So what are we going to do first? Well, first, we're going to clamp our panel together. You probably can't see me now. Maybe you can. I don't know. I don't want to rearrange the camera every time I do this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a pair of vice grips and I'm going to come in and I'm going to just clamp the panel together like that. In a perfect world, I'd get a vice grip on either side. This is not a perfect world. Far from it. I don't really have room for 2 vice grips and then getting my bucking bar in there, my rivet gun in there. This is going to be left-handed too. It's going to be lots of fun. Next, we want to take our Cleco fastener out. We'll discard that for now. Then you want to find the appropriate sized rivet. Hang on, I'll show you how to do that.
Okay, so here you have the 3 common sizes that come in the Model A sub-rail rivet kits. I'm going to show you how to determine the appropriate size when using the Ford waffle pattern tool. So we'll start with the smallest. We're going to put that in our hole. Sorry, it's hard to hold the camera and see what you're doing. And then we'll spin around here and we'll look. So that is not enough protrusion. Number 2. That looks pretty good. Maybe a little touch on the long side. Let's throw the long one in there and see what that looks like. Just for kicks. All right. Definitely too much stick out. Now, if you were doing a rounded head rivet, if I was peening this with a rounded head versus the waffle pattern, you have to create that dome. That's actually about the appropriate amount of stick out. I think you want, the rule of thumb is 2 diameters. So if I was trying to make it round on both sides, or semi-round, half hemispherical on both sides, that would be the appropriate amount of stick out. I'm using the waffle tool. We're gonna go back to the medium size. Pardon my camera work. So like that. Let me go set the camera back up, and then I'll get my tools set up and we'll send this rivet home. With the rivet in place, before we go any further, ear protection. Eye protection. Eye protection goes on first. Very important. You don't want to go blind or deaf. Get these out of the way because they're the wrong size anyway. Hook up our air. This is going to be fun, left-handed. All right, so you get your bucking bar in place. You hold it nice and tight. Try to wedge yourself if you can. Get your air hammer in place. And then that's all there is to it. Let me grab the camera and show you. Actually, let me send home 4 more of these first, and then I'll grab the camera and show you. So now this bottom one, I can't really get the clamps in place. They're more of a precaution anyway. You want to clamp your panel together, because if the panel were to somehow, let me back up. If the rivet, this is a good time for a lesson. Okay, so the way a rivet works, you'd think, you know, you put it in the hole, you peen it over, it would act like a bolt and a nut, where the bolt head and the nut face clamp together to hold the panel in place. That's not how a rivet works. A 3/16 rivet takes a number 10 drill bit, not a 3/16 drill bit. A
A number 10 drill bit is slightly larger than a 3/16 drill bit. That extra space allows the rivet to actually mushroom. It compresses out just like a mushroom. The actual stock of the rivet will get fatter as you're hammering it down, as I've been doing here. That is what makes the rivet fitment superior to a bolt fitment, because otherwise I could just bolt this whole thing together. The expansion of the rivet shaft actually locks the pieces of metal together. It allows the rivet not to spin, so that not only are the pieces of metal clamped, but they can't go like this either. That's where it gets all of its strength. I feel like I was going somewhere with this, but now I've lost my train of thought. Clamping the panels together. So, you clamp the panels together because as you're mushrooming out this stock, if the panels were loose, and granted, you're pushing really hard on one end with your bucking bar, you're pushing exponentially harder on the other end with your air hammer, the panels probably aren't going to go anywhere, but if they did, the rivet stock compressing could actually force the panels apart. So now your perfectly tight fitment that clamps and does not allow squishy back and forth motion is completely shot. And you got a place for water to get in and rust to start, and it's just, you don't want to do it that way. So, that said, clamp the panels together if you can. If you can't, you can't. You gotta make do. Anyway, let me put my gear back on and do this last rivet. Get these out of the way. Alright. I gotta get this Cleco out of the way. Oh no. And then I also have to get this outer Cleco out of the way, because it's in the way of my bucking bar. Set our rivet in place. Eyes and ears. Should probably have gloves on too, because this is killing my hand. But I'm almost done. Let me bring you around and show you the finished result. All right, and there you have 4 rivets in place. Nice and tight, the panel surface. And then we'll rotate the camera around to the other side. What am I doing? There we are. And you can see the pattern left by the waffle, the Ford waffle tool. Those will be nice and tight. They're not going anywhere. All right, so now we've got 4 brassiere head rivets holding our quarter panel brace to our quarter panel and our sub rail, just like old Henry Ford did. It's also spot welded in 4 places on the quarter panel side, which makes this a stronger installation than Henry Ford did. The spot welds are going to be covered up with wood. Nobody's going to see those. The car will look pretty original from the outside when you see these rivets. Anyway, thank you for watching this week. Please hit that like button, comment, tell me what you want to see more videos of, what you're curious about in this project, and you know, pardon my shameless pitch here, but please subscribe. If you guys subscribe, I'll keep making videos. All right, thank you very much again for watching. Don't forget to check us out, the HAMB build thread. I'll put a link in the description. And then Reverend Casey James, REV_Casey, CASEY_James at Instagram. Hashtag the crazy Casey Roadster for all the pics and all the videos and everything else. Thank you again. I really appreciate you. Have a good day. Goodbye. Anyway, what you gotta do, what you wanna do, all you gotta do is,